today's topic is the perfect espresso shot. The perfect shot of espresso is within any home barista's reach. Chasing the perfect shot, or God's shot, requires knowledge, skills, and also good equipment. This video is not your basic shot pulling tutorial. If that's what you need, we have another video for that. In this video, we will focus on the technical aspects that can change a shot. This is due to the subjective nature of coffee, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. How does espresso taste? Some find espresso unpleasant because it's so intense or because they damn it all at once. A bad shot can be very bitter if you brew it incorrectly. There is a great forum post where specialists discuss the bitterness of espressos. It's hard to describe it in words, but the best description is that espresso should taste the way that coffee smells. Once you get used to the bitterness, you start detecting floral notes, caramel, and other notes. Coffee taste is subjective. People think that the recipe is the most important thing when pulling the perfect espresso shot. However, the two most important factors are good espresso knowledge and quality equipment. Coffee is subjective. Some of us like a regular strength espresso, while some of us like a lungo or a ristretto. Most people will enjoy a standard extraction, while some others will prefer it to be over-extracted. This is why the recipe is not the most important. You can start with a recipe because it's a good way to get good results, but from there you can also tweak it and achieve the perfect shot according to you. Objective factors for making a great coffee. Subjectivity aside, there are measurable and objective things that you can do to make your coffee taste delicious. Here's a list just in case you need a little reminder. We already went through this list in our video about how to make espresso, but here's a refresher. Use a good semi-automatic machine. A super automatic machine will not do it because you'll have no control over the brewing. Choose a great grinder. Many people buy a cheaper grinder because they want to save some money, but to make an espresso shot that's amazing, you need a good grinder as well. Maintain your equipment in perfect condition. The coffee residue that builds in the portafilter is just bad. Clean it regularly and descale your coffee machine regularly as well. Use good water. You probably heard this 1,000 times. You need to use water that you actually enjoy drinking, a water that has good taste. Use good quality coffee beans. Not too much to explain here. We have an article explaining what great coffee beans are. Keep your beans fresh. The coffee beans you buy should be whole and they should be no more than 2 weeks old. If you absolutely have to, you can store your beans in the freezer in an airtight bag. Don't believe what others say about storing it in the freezer. Either they did it wrong or they haven't even tried it. Tweak the grind size, dose, and tamping method to create the perfect resistance. These elements are not in perfect balance, then your shot is not going to turn out perfect. We'll talk about this more a little bit later. Pre-extraction is important. Make sure you nail the pre-extraction's variables perfectly. This is hard to do with a machine that doesn't have the built-in feature. Get the timing perfectly. When you aim for perfection, if you end up extracting for 1 second too long, then you'll end up having these bitter flavors that you don't want. What is the perfect extraction time? There are many different opinions on what the perfect extraction time is. Many baristas think that the perfect extraction time is of 30 seconds. Other baristas have wider ranges. I time my espresso to pull from 20 to 25 seconds from when it starts dripping in the cup. What is the perfect brew ratio? Brew ratio is the ratio between the dry coffee and the volume of the coffee in the final cup. Ultimately, the brew ratio is a recipe. The brew ratio is a personal choice. A modern espresso brew ratio is 1 to 2 for a normal espresso shot. Depending on your preferences, tweak the brew ratio to get a lungo or a ristretto. So for a ristretto it's 1 to 1. For a normale or normal, aka regular espresso, it's 1 to 2. And then for a lungo it's 1 to 3. What is the perfect temperature for brewing an espresso? The perfect espresso brewing temperature range is between 190 and 205 Fahrenheit, but you can't use this range blindly. You have to play with this temperature the same way you play with the grind size. Lighter roasts might benefit from a higher temperature, whereas darker roasts can be extracted at lower temperatures. What is the perfect grind size for a perfect espresso shot? The grind size is also one of the things that you need to tweak in order to get a great espresso shot. If the grind size is too coarse, then the shot will pull too quickly and your shot will likely be under-extracted. If the grind is too fine, then the shot will pull too slowly and it will be over-extracted. As a starting point, I recommend a fine grind, a size that's between flour and table salt. Different coffee roasts require different grind sizes, so you'll have to tweak it depending on the coffee that you use. Conclusion. This is just a review of some of the variables that are vital when you're pulling a perfect espresso shot. If you want to learn more about it, then take a look at the article that's listed in the description box. It's much more detailed. I hope you enjoyed this video, and for more videos like this, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please comment below. I'll make sure to answer your questions. Bye!